Hi, Mat Coolahan here. I want to take this few minutes of your time, if I could, just to talk you through AdWords and a concept of website integration with the AdWords platform. So what we'll cover in this video is a typical business implementation of AdWords, define what the key problems are with this style of implementation. I will then address the 7 steps of integrating AdWords. Now, what I mean by integrating, we'll get to in a minute, and also address the 4 keys to getting maximum value of your advertising spend. So the whole intention here is to actually improve your results, get bigger bang for your buck in terms of your advertising spend, and also introduce you to some tools which will actually give you a visibility and some much needed information that will provide you options from being able to improve your quality of your results, but also see what is working, what's not, and why. So a typical AdWords implementation. A business website will decide that it wants to use AdWords as a platform, or at least test it. They go create an AdWords account, set up an ad, but in doing so, they identify all the keywords and search terms possible that could be related to their business, and they're looking for getting as much traffic as possible. So it's traffic oriented, not conversion oriented. And then they set up an ad and point that ad to the homepage of the business's website. So what's the problem with this? So the first thing is that you've got so much information just in the ad alone from the search terms that it becomes nearly impossible to validate from the search information what's working from the ad's point of view, let alone sending all that traffic to a homepage as opposed to a product or service offering that's relevant to what the person's looking for. So the advertising becomes a bit hit and miss. There's no optimization involved. There's no way to measure the advertisement's effectiveness, relevance, or conversion, and it's impossible to manage over time. I mean, 3 months down the track and 3 months of budget burnt, we're not in a very good position with regard to knowing what's working, if it's not working, why it's not working, and what we can do to change it. So there's a better way, and ideally, what we want is basically an advertising campaign that's integrated with the business's website. In other words, if we take the concept of looking at our advertising and our website from the client or the customer's perspective, a customer goes to Google, they want to find something, they have the intent possibly to buy, they enter in a search term that presents them with information. What we want is an ad that speaks to that search term, that is relevant. It uses preferably those keywords within the advertisement itself. And then once the person clicks on your ad, because it's relevant, they are taken then to a web page, not your homepage, but a web page that is explicitly addressing the search that they originally entered into Google that was again relevant to the ad. So not just a general thing brought to the main window of your site, but rather into the detail. Right? If you think about it from a physical store point of view, you take them from out in the street because they're looking for you. You literally walk them up to the rack of the thing that they're looking to buy. So that's the analogy that I'm using. So we want basically to ensure that alignment from the search term through to the your landing or service page is consistent. Then we want the ability to report, measure, and test. So by implementing some tools to produce a detailed level of reporting, so AdWords itself provides half the equation with providing reports from the AdWords engine, but there is nothing available from your website. So we need to ensure that your website is reporting and providing that other side of the equation. And then we can measure what our true outcomes are, and then we can test by identifying specific opportunities. And we can certainly validate the ad. We can do some changes in the advertisement itself. We can change the keywords within the ad group to start identifying what the words are working or what are very expensive but low converting. We can also look at targeting the web page itself. So we can look at design elements, the headline, is it capturing the attention of our audience? The text format, is it clean, is it clear? And the content itself, does it speak to the offer? And we also can then validate the lead capture component. Is our lead capture offer or our call to action working? And then of course, is the conversion goals being met? So all of these things are possible if we actually can integrate AdWords more cleanly into our website, which would mean that our website needs to be modified to accommodate the key messages that we're testing on our ads. And basically, By working with both of them, it provides the opportunity to optimize both the ad and the web page for a maximum result. And once you've got all that, you'll have a clear understanding of what is working and why, and consistently enter an iterative process to improve. So how do we achieve all that? Well, briefly, I wanted to introduce you to the quality score if you're not familiar with it. Now, Google uses the quality score to not only determine the cost of your ad, but also where it's positioned. And the key areas that we're concerned with out of this particular diagram is the keywords. So keyword relevance. So these are the keywords that we want to identify to our ad, and that the ad itself uses those keywords targeted in a targeted manner, and that our landing page is also relevant to the keywords that were entered in the search term and fulfill the promise of the ad. So we have this golden triangle going on, and the more relevant, this takes care of itself, as does this. So we don't have to worry about those too much. So let's get into the steps of what we need to focus on. So assuming that you are looking for an opportunity to improve your advertising experience, one of the things that I'd be looking to, if you don't currently have your product or services on separate dedicated pages, that would be the first step. Identify all your service and product offers and give them their own page on your website. Now, you may have instances where you have a product or service that may be called different things. For example, if a business was polishing shoes, you could also have cleaning shoes. So they both mean the same thing, but there's two different search terms. You might want to have the most prevalent of those two in terms of what gets the most search traffic, be the one that's set up with its own product or service page on the navigation bar, so it's part of your visible website from the homepage. But you might have that other search term, let's say cleaning shoes, as opposed to polishing shoes is the second most popular. You might set up a landing page that's not visible on the website from the homepage. It's not in the navigation bar, but it's there purely to accommodate your AdWords campaign, so that those keywords are provided for in search relevance on your webpage. Now, we're going to get to that in a minute, but the whole point of this is to basically break down your service offering, identify the search terms that are relevant for each product, and even group them if there is groups within groups. Once you have that information, you can start looking at each of your AdWords and your ad groups to identify the keywords that should relate to each ad. So at a minimum, we want an ad per product and service page. And therefore, the keywords that would be specific to each ad would be part of the group. The keywords themselves would be focused within this ad, in the headline or in the content. And then on the URL that this links to, those keywords would be fully transparent and available there. So again, from the experience point of view, the visitor has a clean experience of high relevance. So once we've got those in place, our product and service pages, the next step, once they're on your page, is the conversion goal. What we need to define up front when we create those sales and products pages is, what do we want the customer to do once they've gotten here? What action do we want them to take? So there, some examples of actions would be to subscribe to a newsletter or information service, to add a product to a wish list. Now, the implication of this might seem strange at first, but to add a wish list, they might need to create an account on your website, which means that they're providing you all sorts of information about themselves at that point, so they can add that product to a wish list. You might want them to call you, in which case your phone number would be very clear and easy to find for them to call you now with a clear call to action. You may want them to buy, in which case you'll be providing them a compelling reason to buy, and you'll be providing navigation that's as simple to buy as possible. What you need to do, no matter what the conversion goal is, to make sure that it's explicit on your web page, and that the page itself is contextually relevant to the keywords that were used in the ad. So you're fulfilling a promise. Step 4, and the first of our key items, is a focused landing page. So whether it's a product services page, as we've discussed it before, as part of your main website, so it's part of the navigation system, or in this instance, a focused landing page where you may choose just to set up landing pages so that you can track the AdWords traffic only. So these are web pages that are sitting behind your website, not linked to anything. They still have the feature design of your web page, but what they are is they're designed purely for the content that's addressing your ad. So the search term that's used for the ad to motivate the content of what is the promise in the ad. And then, of course, the landing page itself will be addressing those same keywords and a clear call to action. These focused landing pages become really useful when you start looking at different search groups, as in different keyword groups that are used, such as our example with shoes. So you've got cleaning shoes and polishing shoes. You might use a landing page for one of them, or you might create landing pages for both and just use the main website for organic traffic that comes to your web page. But here you're capturing exactly how your AdWords campaign's working. So I think we've covered all this. So custom landing page specific to the ad and the specific ad. So one per ad, that's a key item. Keyword focused and clear call to action. Step 5 and key 2 is reporting. Now, as we touched on earlier in the video, Google AdWords provides a platform for reporting on the ad itself. This is to cover the other side. This is to give you the end-to-end reporting aspect. And we recommend Google Analytics for this because it integrates with the AdWords system. If you don't have Google Analytics installed on your website, please contact us. We can help you with that. But the feature of this is to actually capture who's coming to your website, how long they're staying for, what are your most popular pages. When it comes to conversion goals, and that's what we'll talk to now, which is the next key item, using Google Analytics, you can see and enter in the conversion information that you want people to achieve. Like you basically put in information and the navigation items for your conversion goal, and then Google Analytics will be able to spit out a report, not necessarily in this format, because this one's an e-commerce site that's showing you the actual funnel and flow from where the traffic sourced from through the generic shopping page, product, to cart, and then checkout. And you can start to see where we're losing people along the funnel. The whole point of having this level of information is you can make key decisions about what's going on your website, what you're going to invest in to actually improve or test to see if you can get a better result down the other end. Now, without having the analytics component and then conversion reporting, we're flying a little blind as to what opportunities we have to actually improve on our AdWords campaign in terms of ensuring that once we've got them at our website, that we're maximizing the time and attention. Step 7 and key number 4, the final point is testing. So once we have all the information set up in the sense of we have a clear linear path from the search terms to the ad groups, the ad itself, to your website and the landing page, once that's all clear and the reporting set up, we can now start looking at what's working and look for opportunities to start testing new ideas that may convert better. And one of there are two clear and obvious ways to test, and one is the AdWords ad itself. And what you can do is grab an existing ad, copy it twice, so you've got 2 identical ads, and on the third one, change something specific. It might be a word in the headline, it might be something in the text or the first sentence. You just change a minor thing to ensure that it's only a single change, because you want to see what's working versus what's not. And now 33% of the people on this ad, it'll rotate. So every third person sees the test ad, and over the course of a week or two, you can start validating whether the A ad or the B ad's working better. And of course, you keep the best performer, and then you pick a next test. So the types of things we can test on an ad are the headlines and of course the text of the ad, the wording of the ad. We can insert capitalization, special characters, bullets, hyphens and pipes to make your ad look a little different. And of course the other obvious item to test is the landing page on your website itself, creating alternate landing pages and copy. So the types of things we can tweak here are the design. We can make it look a little different, and design colors. We can change the headline, and we can test the words on the page, the copy, the sales letter, if you're using one. We can test images with or without, or different types of images, and of course using the use of video, critical. So using testing, we can actually exercise that opportunity to constantly improve and get better results from our ad spend, and towards getting a better result from our AdWords investment. So we've reached the end of that video. So I thank you for your time and attention. I hope you found some value in it, and that you enjoyed it, because I certainly enjoyed creating it for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at the Evimeria Partnership, and I thank you for your time.